Hi Stampers, this is Kim with Great Inspirations. I'm so glad you're here today. We are going to make a tent card. Tent cards are very easy to make, and when I saw this little piñata or horse image in a stamp set, I thought, oh, I need to make a tent card. Now a tent card will stand up. I know that's very difficult to see, because it has a little mechanism that is very easy to make right here on the bottom that allows it to stand. And then the little image inside moves around. I put a piece of basic white cardstock on the back and stamped a greeting and left room to write a personal message and sign my name. But both of these, which I kind of like the white on white, but after I made the one with the white and the colored cardstock, I had a difficult time deciding which one was my favorite. But I made both of these with a stamp set called Taco Fiesta that is found in the Stampin' Up! January through April 2023 mini catalog. As you can see, here is that image right there. Now, we will walk through making this card, but I also wanted to call your attention to a little technique right here, well actually a couple, that allowed me to have the piñata. As you can see, when you stamp the image, the piñata faces to the left. But I wanted it, both sides of the piñata, to be able to be shown and seen. So I needed it to be able to face right and left. So I used a couple of techniques, one of which is called reverse or mirror stamping, and we have talked about that before, but I will show you how to do that today. And then the second one, because there are no dies, we've talked about how to do reverse die cutting before as well. Because there are no dies for this image, I did a little technique that I call reverse fussy cutting, and it's a lot easier than it sounds. So in the description of this video will be a link to my corresponding blog post, and in that blog post I will link you to the videos on how to do the reverse or mirror stamping, and also on how to do the reverse die cutting. But today we're going to be pretty much about the reverse fussy cutting. So let's get started with that. We're going to need a silicone craft sheet, and if you do not have a silicone craft sheet, I highly recommend you get one. It's great to use for all kinds of things, but especially for the reverse or mirror stamping. On my blog there will be some alternatives that you can use if you do not have one of these. So we're going to get some basic white cardstock. We're going to get the piñata image, or the little horse, and we're going to ink it up with some ink. In this case, it's Memento Tuxedo Black. Don't think it's inked up all that well along the top. There we go. And we're just going to stamp it on the white cardstock. So there we go. There's our image. That's how we normally would stamp it. It's good. Now we're going to re-ink the stamp. Make sure it's inked really well. Now I'm going to stamp it on the silicone craft sheet. I'm going to go down and up. Then I'll take another piece of the cardstock, put it on top of the image, and rub. Sometimes I use my acrylic block and go over it just to make sure I get some really good pressure. Then we're going to lift up, and there's our reverse image. And now I'm going to just clean off the silicone craft sheet so we won't get that image on something we don't want it on. I'm also just going to dry it real quick, because we'll be just with a towel, because we'll be using it again here in a bit. So let me see, let me get that out of the way. And so we have these, and then you can color them in. That's what I've done here. And I just used the Stampin' Blends, the alcohol markers, and I just kind of did some little teeny tiny squiggly lines back and forth to get them colored the way I wanted them. Now it's time to do the reverse fussy cutting. Now you could just cut one out and then cut the other one out, but if you do, they might not match up real well. So what I did was I got my light tracer box. Now, if you don't have one of these, that's fine. You can use a window. Let me turn this on. I'm going to just put this right here, face down. And as you can see, the light allows you to see the image from the other side. If you were doing this on a window, just have a little washi tape or something, put it up against the window, you know, facing out. It's looking out the window. And there you go. And so now we're going to take this image facing up so you can see all the colors, and we're just going to slide it right over here and line it up with the other image. You'll be able to tell because of the black ink. It makes it a lot easier to line it up. Just line up all the lines. We're just going to use a little washi tape here to hold things in place. Oh, that's not a very good spot because we need to cut there. There we go. I may need one more because when we lift it up, we want it to stay together. So now we're just going to gently lift up. There's the other side. Get the box out of the way. And then if you take your snips and cut, you'll, oh, I forgot I had adhesive on this. But you will end up with two that are both cut out perfectly fine. And they match. You don't have to try to trim anything. We'll stick those back over there. Now we're going to pull out some of the things that we'll need to put our card together, one of which is a card base. And for this particular card, it will need to be 11 inches by 4 1/4, scored and folded at 5 1/2. And then you're going to need a piece of basic white that is 4 by 5 1/4. And as you can see, I've stamped all the little candies on it and colored them in. I colored, I don't remember if it was 2 or 3 of these in less than 10 minutes. So it doesn't take a lot of time. And then we're going to grab some dies, this one for right now, and it is one of the layering circle dies. And from the cutting edge to the cutting edge, it's like 2 3/8 inches. And I think it's about 3 from actual edge to edge of the die. But we're going to put adhesive on our stamped page, but we're only going to put adhesive along the top, on the back, along the top, the sides, and the bottom, and maybe a little bit right in here, because we want to make sure there's no adhesive here where we're going to die cut. So this would be adhered to your card base. You put your die right here, run it through your die cut machine, and then just crank backwards and run it back through. And then you should get it should cut through both, because this is just the basic white, the regular, not the thick, and the cardstock. So you should have 2 circles, one of which will be the one you stamped on, and the other will be the colored cardstock. You can use the colored cardstock circle for another project, but this one, here it is right here, we are just going to put adhesive on it and put it right back in there. See, it makes the background for the piñata. So that's what we're going to do with that. Then the next thing we're going to do, we're going to take a piece of that parakeet party or whatever kind of cardstock, color cardstock you want to use, and use this die. This is one of the layering circles, but it's a scallop. And you take the die that you just used and find the scallop die that fits. It will fit right inside. And then you run that through your die cut machine on some Parakeet Party cardstock. And this is what you'll have. And I'm going to put that on there right now, and I'm going to use some liquid adhesive because it just makes it a lot easier. Could use the Stampin' Seal Plus, but it just kind of, got glue coming out everywhere. Kind of clean that up a little bit. There we go. And of course this one's almost out. That might be why the glue was coming out everywhere. Now it doesn't want to come out at all. Okay, I'll be right back. Let me grab another one real quick. I don't have problems with this one, it's new, but we'll see. Well, doesn't want to come out either. Okay, you know what? We're going to forget that. We will just use a little bit of this. Just make a little. Next time I gotta have me some backup glue ready. Just line it up. Push, and there we go. And now we will put together our little piñata. And the reason there is adhesive on the back of this, I'll be honest with you, this is about the second or third time I've done this video. I kept having issues. My camera kind of tilted one time. I guess I hit it. And now my glue's not working. It's a great day. But now you'll need to have 2 pieces of basic white cardstock, or it could be whatever color your card base is. But they are each 1/2, and I cut them at 4 1/4. So they'd be the, or I'm sorry, 4. So they'd be the length of the layered background. But we're going to trim them down. But the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put a little adhesive on here. I'm going to take some basic white, or maybe it's just white, baker's twine. Put it on here. Then I'm going to put that adhesive, make sure it goes out a little farther. I didn't get it quite far enough. Put this one. Right on here. Okay, now this, as you can see, I messed up. That was on my last attempt at this video, but nobody's going to see this, so it won't matter. This needs to go here. It needs to go on the front flap. It needs to hang down. We want to kind of get it centered. Okay. Now I can trim this off a little bit. Okay. And we're going to put some adhesive. And we want it on the same side that the circle is die cut out of. We're going to put that right here, just a little bit above the fold. Bring it down. Okay, now we're going to put some adhesive, which I already have on it, on the back side of one of the piñatas. And we're going to put it sort of where we want it in here. Bring your string down, put it on there. Oops. Okay. And now I'm going to put some adhesive on the back side of our second image. So I kind of want to trim this just a little bit. There. Pull this back down. And now we're going to do all of our adhering and match everything up as best we can. There we go. There's our little piñata. Okay, now we're ready. Well, let's put the backing on. Happy birthday. And that's going to go, like I said, on the back side. So all we have to do is put adhesive on the back. Hopefully I can accomplish this today. And then, okay, that's on there. Now we want to put our greeting, which I have right here. It's all about you. Now, this is from the Best Day stamp set. I think I may have mentioned that before, as is the happy birthday. And I use the banner die from Stylish Shapes for this, but I didn't want to use there's one that's a little wider than this, a little longer. I didn't want that because, I mean, I spent all the time coloring the candy. I wanted most of the candy to show. So what I did was I just cut, so there's the die. I just cut two. I stamped my, it's all about you. I die cut it. Then I die cut this. And I am just going to cut this in two. And if you look on here, right there, there's a little center die and one here. And I just kind of use those to, or die cut, to kind of guide me in my cutting. Then, turn this over. Got adhesive on it. And then I just line these up on here. And there's my banner. I just put some dimensionals on the back to hold it on. We'll peel those off. Put that on there. And now we're ready for our little mechanism that makes this a tent card. And for that you will need a piece of cardstock, the same color as your card base, and it's going to be 2 by 4 1/4. And I know you probably, it'll be hard to see the score lines, but I've scored it at 1/2, 1, and 1 1/2. And now we're going to the center fold. We're just going to, or score line, we're just going to make it a mountain fold, and we will use our bone folder to make sure that is a really nice sharp crease. And then we're going to do a valley fold. Just fold this up. Then flip it and do the exact same thing. Fold the other one up. Sort of looks like we're making a fan. But what we want is a W. Now, on one of the cards I made, it's an M, and it worked. But we want the W, and we're going to put some adhesive right on this. There we go. I'm going to open this up. And we want a W, no M. I've got to remember that. So I'm just going to line this up as best you can. It's right like that. Now we're going to put more adhesive right along here. You could also, if you wanted to, you could use some tear and tape for to put along here. I'm going to just line these up. You see what I'm doing here? There we go. And press. And there is the tent card. So that's just how easy it is to make that card. And that's how easy it is to, if you need something stamped in reverse and you want both sides to show and you don't have a die, that's just how easy it is to do the reverse fussy cutting. And you knew it was really easy to do the reverse or mirror stamping. So there you go. There are those 3 cards for today. And as always, I do have that corresponding blog post where you will find all the supplies and card measurements and a few more little things. So thank you for joining me. And until next time, stamp happy.